but I appreciate seeing the audience here. This is a joint public event of the Farm Foundation and the Trade Center as part of a week of meetings that the Farm Foundation Roundtable is here for this week in Lincoln. So you will see a number of folks through the room wearing a Farm Foundation name badge that might be part of those meetings as well. But then this is also a chance for the Yeutter Institute to collaborate with the Farm Foundation and Trade Center and engage a public event while we're here in town. So this evening's speakers are experts in their field. We'll talk about global economics. We'll talk about agricultural trade. It's appropriate that we do a symposium on agricultural trade because it literally seems there is news every week, whether it is a news story or a headline or a tweet, whatever it is. This is clearly a contemporary and relevant issue. And I appreciate your interest and participation this evening. There are clearly a number of things you could be doing right here in downtown Lincoln. You could be watching USA Women's Volleyball 3 blocks that way. You could be listening to some wonderful jazz music about 4 blocks that way at something we call Jazz on the Green, which is a June event every week during June. But you're here, which either means you're really motivated by this topic or you're really just not sure where to go. But I thank you for finding your way here and for participating this evening. My 2 introductions up here will be of one each from each of the organizations that are helping to co-sponsor this. First, I should say I'm Brad Lubben. I'm a faculty member here at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I'm an ag policy specialist, and I happen to be a member and have the privilege of being a member of the board of directors of the Farm Foundation. So I'm privileged to be able to help coordinate and tie these 2 groups together to help deliver this event this evening. The first person that I want to introduce is actually not here this evening, and that's Jill O'Donnell, who is the director of the Yeutter Institute. Jill helped to coordinate and put this work together from the university in, but she also had a previous family commitment this week that is a standing commitment, and we appreciate her efforts to make it happen before she could leave. As I understand it, though, she is stepping out of her family reunion to watch this on live stream. So, good evening, Jill. Thanks for joining us from afar. My first introduction that I will give is a faculty member here from the College of Law, Matt Schaefer. Matthew Schaefer. Matt is the Veronica, Haggart, and Charles Work Professor of International Trade Law, and also the co-director of Space, Cyber, and Telecom Law program here at the University of Nebraska College of Law. In case you didn't know that there was a space law program, there is, and it's here, and Matt's the director, the co-director. And so we can talk space law, but I think that's another symposium, and maybe after this one's over. But we greatly appreciate Matt's role here. Matt's been a leader and one of the leaders in putting the Yeutter Institute and building it up from the foundation. And Matt will have some special introductions as well as the keynote speaker this evening. The other introduction that I want to make is from the Farm Foundation side, and that is Megan Provost. Megan is the Vice President of Policy and Programs at the Farm Foundation. She is a trade expert in her own right with previous work in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere, but Megan is now with the Farm Foundation, and she will introduce our panel participants a little bit later on. With that being said, the formalities are out of the way. Let me ask Matt Schaefer to the podium to introduce our keynote speaker.
Well, good evening on behalf of the Yeutter Institute. As Brad mentioned, Jill sends her regrets, but Jill's done an amazing job standing up the Yeutter Institute, and I wanted to pass along a few remarks. I know she wanted me to pass these along on the Yeutter Institute and its activities. Very pleased to be co-sponsoring the event tonight with the Farm Foundation. Clayton Yeutter, as you know, is an alum of the University of Nebraska, several different colleges and departments of the university, and really the leading figure in international trade. Clayton is responsible for the launch of the Uruguay round, establishing the World Trade Organization, responsible for the Canada-U.S. Free Trade Agreement, the precursor to the to the NAFTA. So some of
The
our
year was
most
1947,
important
it
and
was just
central
not
trade
ratified, right?
relationships are a result of Clayton's work. The Yeutter Institute is really Clayton's vision. He wanted to see the university have an institute that could train, educate, equip, and research in the fields of international trade and finance to develop the next generation of leaders in these areas. It involves 3 departments: the Law College, the Business College, and IANR, Agricultural Economics. There's 3 university chairs that will ultimately be hired, and in fact, the Yanni chair is filled with John Began, who will be on the panel later, and I'll save the introduction of him to Megan for later, but John's here. At the Law College, we are still in our search, as is the Business College, but at the Law College,
You butchered the way you
want. Dave Morfessi, former USTR trade negotiator and former academic that will be teaching courses this year. His first one in international trade, agriculture, food, and wine. Dave's also from Australia, like our keynote speaker, who I will introduce in a moment. Jill has put together an outstanding advisory board, world-class advisory board of 13 members. Darcy Vetter heads up the board and has been instrumental to standing up the Yeutter Institute as an ambassador in residence before becoming chair of the board. There's a major conference that Jill has planned together with the Nebraska Farm Bureau. That'll take place October 10th, and the advisory board will be meeting the day after that. Other activities that have happened: there was a trade negotiation and simulation mini course that was offered for undergraduates this year. Got an incredible enrollment. Lincoln Journal-Star reported on it. That's the type of curricular activity that you can look forward going forward. Just want to also recognize, I'm not sure if she's in the audience, I see Brad, but Christy Yeutter, obviously a critical driving force. I'd really say Christy, and there she is, Christy, and Christy's efforts, Darcy's efforts, and Jill's efforts, just really incredible to get the Institute where it is today and moving on to even greater heights.